Welcome to part two of the MyCAP. So as Terry mentioned, part one, we essentially went over, this is an introduction presentation, part one and two, but part one, we went over how to enable your MyCAP. You also have this learn more that will give you some more information. You have three videos here. By clicking them, if you do watch them, you'll kind of be prompted with this. It does work at first. It looks like, oh, it didn't work. But if you just drop down your browser, you'll see that video pop up there. Um, so there are some videos there that kind of give you some basic information of the setup, the functionality. You have your resources here. You also have this section here that kind of covers what is supported and not supported. One of the biggest things, though, that is not supported in MyCap, the application itself, is e-consent. That would have to be handled through RedCap prior for them going into the MyCap. So if you are interested in that. So when you do enable that, you are populated with your MyCap participant management. And then also in the designer, you'll also have this, your MyCap options when you do enable. So that was a quick little wrap up of last week's presentation. We went over that. Today's main focus will be going over the app setting, which specifically targets the interface of the application, some functionality, and then we'll also be going over your MyCap participant management. So kind of to start off, we'll go into the app setting. We'll go through each tab here. So your about here section is going to be pretty much, you're going to describe your project to your participants once they're in that application. You have a couple options here where you can give them more information as far as the synopsis of your study. So let's say if yours was, sleep study or cognitive, whatever it may be, the synopsis. And then you can go into details as far as what to expect in those. And then to add each of these, you'll just simply click on add a new about page. You would put in your title, the contents or paragraph, whatever you'd like to. You can also upload a custom image in there. So whatever you like, if you guys have your sponsor icon or whatever it may be. The other neat thing about this is you can kind of preview it, what it looks like on a mobile device. So for this, they would see the icon of whatever image, the study name, what the study is about, clicking on this here, what can they expect in this demo, also the demo schedule. So you'll be, experiencing a couple of series every day or whatever it may be. But another neat thing about this as well is if you are making changes, if you're curious to see, what does my image look like? There is a restriction though, as far as your image, it at least has to be a maximum of 250 pixels width. But if you're curious to see what that looks like, or if you're making changes, demo that here, you'll just save whatever you may be. You'll get prompted with your page has been updated, and you can kind of preview it to see what your title or your image or whatever may be your synopsis of what that looks like. You also have an option to modify the project title for the mobile app. Changing this won't change the RedCap project title, but more of what your participants will see when they get into your project so they can see that title. So if you guys make changes or if you're testing it out and you're curious, where can I change my RedCap mobile? That's going to be all done in your about in the project title. You can change that and your participants would be able to see those changes. So again, that covers the about. Now going into your contacts information, this could be beneficial. So you can have support, you can have your clinical research coordinator, if you have the PI, whatever information you would like to share with your participants. So in this demonstration, to kind of create a new one, you would simply click there, the title of what it is that you're showing, the point of contact's name, their phone number, email. You can also even provide a website. So if it's like a resource page, or if you are like a RedCap support or anything like that, you can provide that there with additional information. The other thing with this is you'll be able to see that preview of what that's going to look like on that application. So they will be able to see their name, the URL if you're sharing one, their name, any other information. So this would be good for just, contact, or if someone needs to be contacted, who is that going to be? Or you can even have, if any inquiries or anything you guys have set up, like a general email address, so those queries can go through there. Next up, we're going to have our link section. So with links, this could be beneficial. So if your project is sharing any links to resources, your study website, custom web pages, or if you're displaying participants' results, you can add that information here. Kind of go into the edit. You would again title it, you would give them that URL. If you are going to be sharing individuals, participants' results, you have the capability to append project results. This one here, you have these selected images. You're not going to be able to upload it, but if you're just going to be sharing a website, you can just use the web icon. If you're showing data, charts, or information, or help, anything like that, you would just simply select that here. Unfortunately, the links doesn't give you an option to preview it, but it's just going to be your, another resource that you can provide your participants, any help, or one that we did do is the MyCAP resources. So as we shared in part 1, when you do enable it next to that icon, by going to this website, it's essentially going to have like an FAQs, your resources, project help and setup for that. So we set that up for this sake of this presentation. Next up is our theme. So in this theme, this is when you'll be able to kind of modify and customize the color scheme that you'd like for your presentation, such as the banner, what that's going to look like. If you would like to kind of go through your own custom color schemes, you are able to. One thing noted though, they recommend using the material design color scheme. So simply clicking these here, it'll give you those color formats you can kind of go through, but it does give you that. It also just mentions that you need to close the application and reopen it, and that's when they'll be able to effectively see those. Again, you have to just ensure that you do publish your changes, which will show you again in a little bit later. Additionally, this feature is not available on Android devices. So that's something just to know for any Android users or anything, but you do have the capability to change those. We just went with the basic ones here just to ensure that we did have the correct color codes and everything. You can go through that. Next tab over is our notification setting. So this is where you'll set up at exactly what time you want your notifications to go. So if they did allow any notifications to go through the participant on their application, they would get a alert at this set time. Hello, this is just a reminder to complete your MyCAP active task. That's the time you can change it. So if you like 8 a.m., noon, you can simply go in here and then change that time that you'd like. Next up, we're going to go into MyCAP participant management. So very similar to your survey distribution tools with your participant list, your MyCAP participant list is going to show all of your participants that you've had. You can also, just like on your record status dashboard, you can pretty much set up how you want your participants to be displayed, name and email. You can modify it whatever you'd like to. You're going to see their record numbers. And in part 1, we did go over our baseline. So this is going to show you if you are just using the standard baseline would be the install date. It's going to let you know when they did install it. It's going by UTC format though. So it's giving you this information here. Staying in our participant hub as well, we're going to be seeing, let's say for this presentation, we did set it up when the participant does complete the survey. They're going to be prompted with the show that here now. So when they do fill out the intake, they're going to they will be prompted with their QR code here. And then also we've set it up in our survey settings to also go to their email, just in case they've stepped away. This has been locked away and everything. They've lost it. It's kind of a double, but in that case that they've lost the email, they can't find the QR code from the web browser, you have that capability to resend that to them. So you can either print it out for them or you can email them the URL when it comes to that. Also in your participant list here, you can message your participant. So I think this is what makes MyCAP a pretty powerful tool, the capability of the messaging system here. So on the left-hand column is going to be any messages that we sent as the administrator. Your right side here is going to show anything that the participant has sent you out. So your inbox and your outbox or vice versa. So you'll quickly send them a message. You will have the capability of using the rich text editor as well to give you some more information on that for your messaging and what is supported on that. So as you can see here, this is an announcement. We'll get to that in a little bit, but just a quick thing on this. This is something that all of your participants will receive. So this is something that's a really good tool. But you can see this message apparently was sent to Tanya, is letting her just know, again, as a reminder, we're going to be closed on 5/26 for Memorial Day. So you can just message your participants directly on this, which they would receive in their MyCAP application. Next up, sticking with the messages here, you're going to see your inbox. So anything that we have received. So participant Minnie Mouse sent us a message of good morning. You're going to see this action needed. Something that's really good with this is, let's say they are experiencing technical difficulties with the application, and they sent us a message of, hello, as I completed my morning activities, I'm getting a pending results to be sent to you. I just want to ensure that you are receiving the results and it's not a bug. You can quickly flag it as actions needed to kind of investigate it, or if you need to take some time, and you'll see that icon would change red. Once you've resolved it, you have two options. You can either send it out as an announcement if you do find out it is a bug with MyCAP or anything from the RedCap administrators, or if it was another general question, you can just send them a message back, uncheck action needed. So that way, everyone that does have the user rights to have MyCAP can come in and see that this has been resolved, that something is not pending. But it's another good tool when it comes to your inbox and how you can manage that engagement with your participants. Next up, we have our outbox. This is going to show anything that we have sent out as far as messaging, announcements, or anything. So if we click on actions, same thing would apply. You would be able to see that history throughout your outgoing box. And announcements. So this is something I think that's really neat. With your announcement, you can just generate it here. But a good example is, you see, we just notified our participants we're going to be closed next month for Memorial Day. But let's say if you are making changes to your project, you push those changes, and you want your participants to be aware of that. Again, as a reminder, when you do publish them, the next time if they've closed out the application and they go back in, that's when those changes would be reflected. So let's say if you did want to let your participants know you've made changes, for them to please close out the application because it's something that's really big for them to see, you can quickly send out a blast for all of your participants and new announcements. And if they have allowed notifications to come through, they would see them. Or if they're in the application, they would see it in the announcement banner in the application of what is going on in there. And next up, we have our app sync issues. So it's going to give you any synchronization issues that have come up through the project. So anything that's been incompatible, or if you're using a old version of tasks or instruments, it's going to populate you there and let you know what participant is seeing this, what instrument, and you can again flag it through the actions. And then the last one we have in our participant management is your help resources. This again will be located in the designer's wall in case you lose it. Once we get to our next section, Tanya will be sharing this document. Now what I would like to share with you all is the team and I worked on a screenshot thing for our participants, so you can kind of see what the application looks like when you're in the app, what your participants are going to see. This is also something that you could share if you'd like. Tanya will place this documentation in the chat, as well as the MyCAP resources and a quick guide. So 3 documents she'll place in the chat. But this one, please feel free if you'd like to use this and you want to share with your participants, you can customize it per your liking, but it's something, a good resource that you can probably share with them, kind of a little walkthrough of the application of what that looks like. So I just placed these mainly for the presentation, but as I mentioned in the survey settings for that first instrument, we did just set it up so that way once they're done with it, they can have it there. This is what an email would look like when it does come to them installing it. On that note, though, they have to ensure that they did install the app prior to scanning the QR code. If they go in to scan the QR code, obviously it's not going to retrieve the application, so it's not going to work properly. So they need to ensure that they've downloaded the MyCAP app, and then they'll be able to scan the QR code so that it can display properly. It's also recommended that participants only use one device rather than multiple devices. However, if a participant does need to install the MyCAP on a new device, they can simply scan the original QR code on their new device, and it'll pick up exactly where they left off. So those are some couple notes I'd like to share. So I'm a participant. I've signed up for this MyCAP project. I've received the email. I've downloaded the app. I scanned the QR code. Next thing that you'll be popped up with is this message that'll pop up. This is the interface of the app. So for Androids and iPhone users, they'll be prompted with the allow notification section if they would like to allow them. We strongly encourage to have reminder participants to allow notifications. As simply, this is a good way to have that messaging system with them so they get the alert on that, and also any announcements. If they do not allow it, not a big issue. The only thing is, like I mentioned, they won't get those little alerts on their phones. Instead, they'll have to go into the app itself. They'll see in their messaging the little red icon that there's something new. So once we have allowed it, we're going to get prompted with our little main screen once you boot up your application. This is going to let you know your app version number, your settings. This is going to be your profile. So at this point, you would click on your profile icon. It's going to ask to join a project, and you're going to scan that QR code one more time so you can join that project. Once it syncs, it's letting you know that the study name, the MyCAP sample project, and it's going to ask permission for your device to display the features that you've enabled. It goes over 3 icons. Once they've clicked next, they'll be prompted into the main hub of the project. This is mainly the main home screen once they're in your project. So we'll go through each one. So you have here your calendar. One thing to note though is the MyCap calendar is not the same as the RedCap calendar, and they do not communicate with one another. So this RedCap mobile app, MyCap, apologies, it's going to show you what they have scheduled for this Tuesday, their morning check-in. So it goes through each day and lets them know what they have to complete. So we're currently in the home. This is their history. So if they've taken any of these active tasks, it'll show them there, their charts with their data. On the bottom here, this is where we're going to have our activities. And as you can see, for this specific date, we have the welcome activity they need to complete, their morning check-in, and a couple active assessments. Next up, we kind of went over this. Next up would be the messaging functionality. So this is going to be kind of a little demo of what your participants would send out. So I just sent out a message. Good morning. The instructions you emailed me work, and I've joined the new study. Thank you. So this is what that looks like for them to come in, and then anything that you would send from there and would populate on this side. If you recall in the prior one, you had the option for your about section where you would give them your project title, a synopsis of what that looks like. This is what that looks like when they click on the icon for information. So this is the about section. You have your contacts. So if they needed to contact anything, this is what those would display at, as we saw in the prior one. Any links that you'd share with them would be populated in this section. And then you have your profile here. So if they are in multiple studies, they would be able to see them listed here so they can quickly navigate to their other studies. But in this demo, we just are enrolled in only this study. And then last one here, this is how they would exit out of the application here. And we kind of wanted to show you guys what an assessment would look like. So in these screenshots, this is the tapping interval task. So this is going to let them know what hand to use. They need to have it on a flat surface. Using their fingers here, they can tap for 10 seconds. This is during the assessment, what it looks like. When this blue meter meets the end of it, it's been completed. This is letting you know how many total taps you've completed. So that pretty much wanted to share that with you, what those assessments look like. And with that, that's going to conclude the presentation for MyCAP. Do you guys have any questions? Perfect. Thank you, guys. And like I mentioned, Tanya did place those documentations in the chat. The Word document is going to be the one that I just shared. The PDF ones that you see there are going to be the quick guide for MyCAP. And then also the MyCAP help, which is going to show you a template of what is supported. I also did forget to mention this June, the Vanderbilt team did mention that they are anticipating a big push for MyCAP. So it's going to be a big change. sometime in June. They didn't state when. So when those changes do happen, I'll be sure to kind of update this and do another presentation sometime late June or July to kind of go over their big push that they're anticipating for June.